Arsenal absolutely scintillating tonight. They secure a place in the semi-finals of the Europa League. Manchester United also make it after a 4-0 win on aggregate over Granada, courtesy tonight of goals from Cavani and the most obscure own goal right at the end of the game. That's two more English Premier League clubs in European semi-finals. Smash that like button. Here we go. What a great performance from Arsenal Football Club tonight. 3-0 up inside the opening 25 minutes. They absolutely put the disrespectful Slavia Prague to bed, to the sword, obliterated, annihilated, disapparated. Absolutely gave them baptism on the fire tonight from Arsenal. I will say this, the best performance I've seen from Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. A lot of pressure on. The whole season came down to tonight, and they delivered in abundance. Absolute abundance this evening. Man United game was a different kind of affair, really. Early goal killed the game, and then it became a little bit of a friendly, really. United not giving it 100%, playing in second gear. Granada with a few opportunities, but not really going for it in any real way, shape, or form for large parts of the game. They almost equal. Ahmad went through on goal at the end. Should have got a foul and a player sent off for denying a clear goal and scoring opportunity. They went up the other end and De Gea pulled off a brilliant save from Herrera. And then we went down the other end and scored a goal. The last 5 minutes was quite exciting. A fairly average game in the end for Manchester United. But the big news tonight, both Arsenal and Man United make it into the semi-final. The semi-final now of the Europa League. Are the stars going to align? Will we see two all-English European finals? We're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show. Make sure like buttons are being hit right now for us, please, people. First up here, Zane with a super chat says, Pepe, Laka, Saka, Bruno Pogba, who? Boring football, Terry, again. Listen, bro, I'll tell you this now. After you went 3-0 up tonight, it wasn't scintillating from Arsenal. And it didn't need to be scintillating from Arsenal. You only had 7 shots in the whole game and scored 4 goals. But it was that opening 25 minutes where you put the game to bed. Man United put tonight's game to bed after 3.5, 4 minutes. And then we played in second gear, just like Chelsea did on Tuesday evening. Just played in second gear. It wasn't amazing, wasn't horrible, got the job done. I felt at any time, both Arsenal and Manchester United tonight could have upped their gears as and when they needed to. I'm just happy that we're in the semi-finals. It was an excellent start to the game by Paul Pogba, by the way. What a wonderful, precise header from him to set up Cavani's volley and goal. I will say this about the Arsenal players tonight. I thought Pepe was excellent. Saka, what a performance from him. Emil Smith-Rowe as well. Unlucky not to get on the score sheet very early on. Gets a brilliant assist for Pepe's goal. It was a sensational night in so many ways tonight. It really, really was. Both clubs in the semi-finals. Happy days. We've got KJ backstage, Igal backstage, Johnny backstage. They'll be coming on soon. Let's go past that 500 like mark. Then Mans will be coming on. Forever football here. Man like Aaron, the Donny fan, says, hey, if Arsenal can win, maybe Donny has a chance. Listen, Donny came on tonight at 45 minutes. I would have loved to have seen Donny start tonight. Personally, I would have loved to have seen him start. For me in the midfield, I still think we'd have been okay. I'm not particularly happy with that decision from Ole, but I'm not going to allow that to dampen a night where my team gets through to another semi-final. The question's now whether Man United have got the ability to get past the semi-final. Who do? That's going to be the big question, but we are past it. There's no doubt about that. Let's do some more of your live comments here. Terry, the intro is banging. It's a bit of a tester right now. We have a professional videographer and editor that works with us here at the Football Terrace. We will be commissioning him to do some work on multiple intros a little bit later on in the year. Let's do some more of these comments here. Smash the like button, people. Make sure that is being done. I want your views and opinions, though, right now. I want your views and opinions. There's a lot of banter with each other. Give me your views and opinions on the game. LFC says racists battered. There was that social element, the social justice element tonight, which for me was really poetic as well, especially at halftime. I didn't see the pictures before the game started. You see the pictures of the Arsenal players taking the knee and the Slavia Prague, two Bob Mob sort of standing sort of arm in arm or around each other standing up. And yeah, there was some poetic justice in that. There's no doubt about it. Thank you, Philip, for the super chat. Good evening, Dinesh. Hope you're well. Stephen says Ahmad was robbed. He absolutely was tonight. It was daylight robbery that he didn't get. He wouldn't have got a penalty. He would have got a free kick, but it was a clear red card. He was going through on goal, and I'd love to have seen Ahmad allow that opportunity. But there we go. All English final for the Champions League, and that would be. Do you know why I'd love that? Right? It it would wind up UEFA. It would wind them up. It really, really would. But really tough semi-finals. I actually don't know who's made it through to the other semi-final. I know Roma were. It was. Yes, Roma have gone through. So that's it. Roma versus Man United and Villarreal versus Arsenal. It's actually pretty good semi-finals, all things being fair and equal. Man like Shadman in the house says this one was for Glenn Kamara. Once a gunner, always a gunner. Come on, you Gooners. Unai Emery, Derby next. That's going to be huge. 29th of April, the semi-finals. Of course, we're going to be live straight after them. It's going to be an epic night of football for a couple of weeks. I can't wait. Bring back Terry's laugh into the intro. Maybe do that by popular demand. We can't have a laugh in all the shows. Some of the shows we're going to be creating are quite serious. Can't we doing a really in-depth talk with somebody and then there's at the end? That'd be a bit mad. Do you know what I mean? It would kind of ruin the ambience somewhat. I think it will. Chrissy Smalling back at Old Trafford, Terry. Just listen, if it's Chris Smalling, I don't care. It's if Mike Smalling turns up, I'm worried. Mike Smalling is the world-class centre-back. I ain't worried about Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling's bang average. All the good evenings coming in. We're going to bring that panel on really, really soon, ladies and gentlemen. We're nearly on 2,000 people watching. Terry, thoughts on Smith Rowe? Excellent tonight. Smith Rowe and Saka, 20 and 19 years of age, I think they are. Phenomenal. Phenomenal young players. And I say this to Arsenal with genuine meaning. You need to improve as a football club in the next 12 to 18 months. Otherwise, you will lose these two gems. They are absolute gems. They are playing above their years. Their consistency has been above their years. Arsenal need to improve to keep them because they're too good for a team sitting 10th, 9th, 8th. They are Champions League level football players. You can see it a mile away. And I always talk about this on the terrace about, when you see a youngster, they make 3 or 4 appearances. You should be able to tell very early on whether they actually have the minerals to play at the highest level. And for me, those two Arsenal boys do. They're sensational. Arsenal just need to improve to keep them. There is no doubt about that. E-Boss, I don't know what E-Boss is laughing at, but I thought I'd share it. E-Boss, long-time viewer. We're on that 2,000 mark now. I'm going to bring the panel in. We've got Neeks backstage. Indiana's waiting. KJ's been on his phone a lot today. I don't know who he's messaging, arranging a holiday. He's joking. I love it because I can see all of them. They can't also. Actually, KJ can see everyone because he's got privileges. Man's got privilege. A mad fanboys need to chill with the guy. Expand on that, please, sir. I want to know what you mean. Terry, thoughts on Axel Tuanzebe? Good performance. Still sometimes a little bit erratic and gave away some silly fouls near the edge of the box. But overall, very good. Got good blocking in the second half as far as I can remember. So he did very, very well indeed. We're going to bring the panel on now to have their say. Like buttons, all that jazz, smash it. Let's go. Hang on, I need to get rid of this comment first. Otherwise, it will linger over. Let's do that and then do this. Gentlemen, I'm going to go to Igal first. Mate. Tonight, you stepped up. You got the win. In fact, it was scintillating from Arsenal tonight. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Yo, 4 goals for Glenn Kamara. We did that for Glenn Kamara. Once a Gunner, always a Gunner. Shadman said it himself. Great line right there. Now, those 4 goals, let me just break it down for you guys. We absolutely blitzed them in the opening minutes. Absolute great performance from the team. I haven't seen that performance in a long time. And you know what? We have a good running now. We have Fulham. Then we're gonna have Villarreal. You know what? Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I'm having a good evening. And I'm gonna tell you guys this. Anyone who's not happy today, just relax. Just sit back, relax. We won this game. Moving on to the next tie. It doesn't matter how we won it. We made it tough for ourselves all the time. We always do that. You know this is Arsenal. And you know what? Going into the next tie, you shouldn't be worried. Are we going to do this every single time? Against Olympiacos, against Benfica, go into a tie at least a little bit more excited. And today, after all the doom and gloom before the game, I'm happy we came out with such a good victory, and everyone can just unite for one day. I know I put out tweets about Arteta out people being in the mud, but you guys are, so let's just continue.
I hear you on that. I want to ask you, Gal, was that the best performance when you consider the importance of winning tonight? You've got the social element and backdrop behind the game. Is that the best performance that you have seen from a Mikel Arteta Arsenal team?
I think the performances come and go. The problem is they can't consistently keep up with it, or else we'd be a lot better. What I'm saying right now is today, based off the past couple of weeks, you've seen it in spurts, but that first 45 minutes was probably the best 45 minutes we've had this whole season. I don't think we've had a better 45 minutes when it comes to finishing, chances created, the defensive partnership didn't get worried at all. Leno didn't get worried at all. The whole team was just on point. And you know what? What you said right there, for the first 45 minutes, that applies, but not for the full 90, I would say.
And I hear you on that. Do you know what? There's a very famous Premier League game. It was Liverpool versus Aston Villa. And Liverpool, I think we went 3-0 up. It felt like inside the opening 10 minutes or something. It was so quick. I remember my dad going, might as well turn it off now because the rest of the game would be boring. Do you know what? The rest of the game was really boring because Liverpool didn't try anymore. Villa were already kind of defeated and it kind of nullified itself. So for me, although it wasn't as exciting after the opening 30 minutes as it was in the first 30 minutes, you got the job done. There was no need for Arsenal to play with that intensity, with that velocity, with that level of attacking flair because you put the game to bed. You just reserve your energy. You get yourself through the match. I thought it was sensational. We will talk Man United. And
I'm going to be consistent, though. 1 second.
Go on.
That first goal that was disallowed should have been allowed. Just want to point that out. Should have been allowed. We won 4-0. I'm happy. But that first goal should have been allowed because once a goalkeeper touches the ball and it goes off the post, it should go into the second phase of play. And no one should be then considered offside if the goalkeeper saves the shot.
I hear that. You want to see more? Sorry, go on, Nick.
Was it offside when the shot was taken?
That's the thing. And
no, but even if he is offside when the shot is taken, the first phase of play,
if he's offside when the shot is taken,
second phase is when he saves it.
No. If he's offside when the shot is taken, doesn't matter if the goalkeeper saves it or not. He's still offside. No second phase, no nothing. That is the rule. If he was offside when the shot was taken, he is offside, and that is the rules. And as it is, if it wasn't, then
as far as I'm aware,
if it wasn't, then obviously you can.
I didn't actually see that. I actually missed that incident. So
I just wanted to check with Igal if now is Arteta an Arsenal legend.
What?
We've got the.
Oh no! By the way, that's 504 days since they've last lost at home. So they haven't lost at home for 504 days, and we're the first ones to do that. So it's something.
Now, I wanted to ask you this question. Is this now laid a benchmark for Mikel Arteta? Is this, you don't expect to score 3 goals in 24 minutes of every game, but do you expect to see better, intense performances like this from your team on a more regular basis now? Because you've proven tonight you can do it when it really matters. So do you as a fan now want to see this on a more regular basis?
Honestly, Terry, I would love to see this on a more regular basis. I'd love to see them come out with the intensity and aggressiveness that they came out with. From opening minute, you could see everyone was on job. Even Nicolas Pepe, that goal that he scored, he made sure that he was onside the whole time. And usually sometimes he switches off and he just goes offside. And he's known for being an offside just hanging off that last second. So it's not as much the intensity and the strength, but what it is, the intelligence that they showed. Because there's a lot of times these players have shown that they lack intelligence throughout the season. And today, every single one of them was switched on. And you know what? People making fun of Arteta for not starting Martinelli. He was injured at the beginning of the game. Aubameyang, we have to say get well soon because he's in hospital with malaria. And also when it comes down to Granit Xhaka being left back, people making fun of us guys who are backing Arteta for saying it was tactical genius. Maybe it wasn't tactical genius, but it worked. So I'm going to take that.
I hear you on that. We will talk some more Arsenal later, ladies and gentlemen. I want to go to Johnny here. Johnny, what were your thoughts on Manchester United's performance tonight?
I just want to start off by saying I'm so happy that Arsenal smashed them racist bastards. Yeah, so great to Arsenal. Well done. Don't need that in the fucking game. Get fucked. Excuse my language. Now to Man United. Look, to me, it had a training game feel to it. I weren't expecting much. Obviously, it was a dead rubber game. It had a dead rubber feel. Performance worked shit, but it worked brilliant. It was just meandering in nothingness, to be honest. But what I did like was Pogba's awareness to pick out Cavani with that header, because he did that on purpose. Don't think he didn't, because he did do that on purpose. Great finish by Cavani. And what else? I don't want to try and be next, because I always get called Mr. Negative. What else were good?
Just say what you want to say, bro. You don't need to. If you want to be negative, be negative. Just say what you feel, bro. You express yourself.
Well, I put a tweet out at the start of the game that I was pissed off that that Van der Beek quit starting, and I'm not going to change my stance on that. Why can't he get a start? Like, I don't understand it. And I thought tonight again there was more evidence tonight that it weren't brilliant, but it was good. And I thought there's more evidence tonight to say, like, why is he not getting more minutes? And again, Ahmad, why can't you? I think you'll do start for a second half with 4-0 up. Why can't Ahmad get on?
3.
Why not? This myth that Ollie believes in youth, it literally is a myth. It's like unicorns and dragons. That's what it is. He don't believe in youth. Ahmad could have got on for 45 minutes. And I just think it's disappointing, because it's stuff like that would have been like, I'd have warmed to Ollie a bit more. Like, you know what I mean? So, look, it is what it is. We've got the job done. And on to Roma, who are no mugs. Let me tell you that for free.
The comment about the youth thing is the reason why I can't subscribe to that is we've seen many managers in the past before take their time with young players and younger players. So just because I wanted the man to get more game time. I wanted him to start. I wanted to come at half time, but he's still only 18. And a lot of managers have taken a slow approach before late. Even Phil Foden is a big example of that. He came into that City team, everyone wondering, where's his game time? Where's his game time? But now we're seeing the fruits of that 3-year period of him nurturing him, getting him ready for this role. So you don't
credit for something. I never give Ollie credit. I will give him credit tonight, because he took Pogba off at half time. That showed me that at least he's learned his lesson from the PSG fucking farce.
Can I ask a question about that? Can I ask a question about that? I did see you tweeting it and many other people. 99.1% of football players that get booked in the first half of football never get sent off. And why last night was Twitter not trending and commentators not moaning and calling Klopp and Zidane like stupid and taking silly risks when they both had players booked on the 25th minute of the first half and they never substituted them off? I nearly swore. Why is Ollie being judged and told to do things that the vast majority of other managers in the history of football have never, ever done? We now get a player booked in the first half, and all I see trending every game and by commentators is he's got to think about taking them off. But I never hear it said towards any other team and manager. Why?
Terry, it's ridiculous. No, one second, Johnny. It's ridiculous. Personal player responsibility doesn't exist within the analysis for many people in our fan base. Everything is on the manager. We make an individual mistake. Well, if they trained better, then they could have prevented that. That a player misplaces a pass. Why is he there? Why did he play that pass? What kind of patterns are they learning in training? Pogba gets an unfair yellow card for the first one because there's a foul on him. Then he gets then he makes a silly challenge. When he's on the yellow card, he makes the silly challenge that could potentially get a second, and it's Ollie who needs to take Pogba off. At what point do players need to take responsibility for their decisions on the pitch, whether it be defensive or attacking? Everything now is Solskjaer, manager. And I'm like, there's 11 guys out on the pitch who are paid a hell of a lot of money to do a job. Yet 17 minutes on, we want to take Pogba off. Like, it doesn't even, that this analysis that you said has never existed in football before. But Fred got sent off, so now any player that gets sent off, a yellow card early needs to be taken off. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and I think it's just a stick that people want to use to beat Ole with, because they're clutching. Because as the season goes on and on and on, everything that they were predicting at the start of the season is kind of falling off, and they're trying to find new things to blame on him.
It's really not falling off, but anyway.
Well, it is, because you didn't expect us to be second. You didn't expect us to be second. I know at the start of the season you didn't expect us to be second, because I didn't. Nobody in this chat expected us to be second.
This is not the OLE OUT show. Let's not go there. Right? Let's not go there. Let's just.
Well, he asked me a question about Ole's decision, so that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So my question to you, John, and I'll ask it to you. I'll speak to other people. The other night, you waxed lyrical about how well Poch's team did, but Poch had a player booked really early on in the second half. You weren't calling Ole an unnecessary.
No, I'd have said the same to Poch. Why?
I mean, you didn't tweet like, once during the game saying you didn't tweet when Dagner got booked.
I wasn't aware of that. That's only because I wasn't aware of it.
Right, okay. My view is I didn't see no one saying why is Poch kept a defender on a yellow card on the field of play when he needs to win. Why only Ole?
I think, in my opinion, right, I can only speak for myself. I think you're taking an unnecessary risk. Yes, the players have to take responsibility, but if you leave that player on and they gets another yellow, the team's going to suffer. And I think as a manager who's got the bird's eye view of everyone, you should sort of save the players from themselves.
If a player gets a booking in the first half, you think they should be taken off at halftime always to save a red card from happening?
Yeah, I do. I think that's sensible. That's sensible.
It's just not possible all the time. It's just not. And I understand in this scenario where 1-0 up or 3-0 up on aggregate, and I was happy that Pogba came off. But see what I tweeted when Pogba got he made a challenge that could have got a second yellow. I said Pogba needs to be very, very careful. Pogba is out on the pitch, not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
I agree with that. I do agree with that, Nicks.
But people's initial thought is go straight to the manager. Get him off.
I do get that. No, I do understand that. We've got Adam with us as well now, mate. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, all right, mate. Not too bad. Just going on touching on the yellow card half-time scenario there. I think there's only one time I probably would have said take a player off at half-time. I think simply because I was that type of player. I would cripple someone early doors, or get stuck into him. So I was always lingering on a yellow card myself. And if I got brought off at half-time, I would have been fuming. But no, I think Fred against PSG was the only obvious half-time substitution for me, because we know that he was living a tightrope because of an earlier decision there, and the ref was waiting for something. That's the only time I would bring anyone off at half-time. But yeah, I mean, getting into the game in general for us, God, mate, it was just one of them European nights again in the Europa League. Job done. Don't think we've broke sweat in any game so far in the Europa League since we've been in it. It's just been second gear all the way through, and we're in the semi-final, rocking another semi-final. What's the betting? We got London against Manchester double-header European Cup finals this year. That's going to be interesting, isn't it?
That would be lovely for multiple reasons. One, it means we break the semi-final hoodoo, and secondly, it would actually make the Europa League final huge in some respects. On paper, fan base wise, you'd probably have more fans watching Arsenal Man United than maybe you would have watching Man City Chelsea in terms of global audience. It's big.
It'd be interesting to see what the numbers would be.
No, but it doesn't mean the same for you guys. It doesn't mean the same for you guys. If you guys win it,
one at a time, please. Go on, Miguel.
If you guys win the Europa League, you win a Europa League, you get a European competition, you get another trophy to your amount of trophies that you already have. If we win this, we literally are putting this is a cheat code to save our future. Like, we're not going to get Champions League football this year. We're not going to get Europa League football this year, even if through the league, most likely. So if we can win the Europa League, we get Champions League football, offers us more money to buy better players. We can attract better players in the summer. We can shortcut 3 years of our planning, because we don't have a plan to get into Champions League this year through the league.
If we beat Arsenal in the final, not only do we win a European trophy, we stop Arsenal getting back in the Champions League. That's massive. That is
No,
massive.
if
I
you guys
hate
beat us-
you lot. I hate
If
you.
you guys beat us, you guys literally sabotage us
No.
and put us back 2 years again.
No, I
Yeah,
get
that would be beautiful.
But my point isn't even about the result and what it means for the clubs. I'm purely talking about viewing figures. I'm purely talking about how many people actually physically tune in to watch it. Man United and Arsenal have two of the biggest international fan bases in the world. It'd just be interesting to see the level of people watching it. I mean, UEFA, I think there's an element of UEFA that would hate all the English teams in a final. But
Definitely.
Yeah, but from a TV viewpoint of perspective and a marketing element, I think it'd be huge. Indiana, another night tonight where a class striker steps up and puts the ball in the back of the net. What was your thoughts on United's overall performance and more so what we got from Cavani again?
Again, if Cavani leaves, we need a striker. We have to get a striker if Cavani leaves. Hopefully he can stay for another year. Greenwood can learn from him and Greenwood can get in there. But he steps up. He stepped up. The one that did make me laugh was the own goal because even the centre back thought that Mata was going to head that in the back of the net, and then it comes off his forehead and goes in the back of his own net. But in terms of performance, shocking. I honestly, it was terrible. Like 5-yard passes, we couldn't make them. I thought the movement was poor. We weren't aggressive enough. We, like Johnny said, we treated it as a training game, and that was
we should.
Boring. No, it was boring. KJ.
No,
it was boring. It was boring. I'll be honest. I'm glad we've won. I'm pleased we've won the game. It's great we scored 2 goals, but it was boring. That's not right.
We're playing 2 matches a week.
It was still boring. It was still boring. Bruno had a shocker. Bruno had a shocker today as well. But we won the game. We won the game. We're in a semi-final. We're going to play Roma.
You wanted to be my best friend, Indiana.
Sorry?
You wanted to be my best friend.
Guys, one second, please.
I'm with
Indiana. When you sort of what more are you expecting tonight? We're 3-0 up after 2 minutes in terms of on aggregate. There was zero need for us to exert ourselves for the rest of that game. I know people talk about entertainment, but winning's more important.
You don't have to, Terry. You can keep the ball. Let the ball do the work. We couldn't even keep the ball. We probably spent more energy by chasing the ball back than if we would have kept it. I thought midfield, we were terrible. Honestly, we could have kept the ball, could have passed it around. Some of the decision making was bad, but I'm pleased we won the game. I'm happy we won the game. It was just boring to watch.
No, I agree. It wasn't an exciting game, but I felt yes, we could have played slow and kept the ball. And
not slow. We didn't even have to play slow. We could just keep the ball.
I'm saying just
keep the ball a bit better.
But obviously, every time we got the ball, we were still trying to go and get a goal. But it wasn't that important to run the fastest and press the most. But inside all of that, we still had like 3 other clear opportunities to score. Greenwood, Cavani should have had another one. Then we had Diallo running through later.
Yeah, I mean, that was mad.
It was a boring game, yes. But I don't think we were terrible. I think it was an average performance on a night that really had.
And also, we're forgetting we played another team who was trying to win the game. It's not like they were literally.
No, I get that, KJ.
It's not like they were just sitting back, letting us do whatever we wanted, and we still couldn't pass the ball. There was pressing us, there was having us, and to me, I saw one team that it was trying their hardest to win or make something out of the game, and another team that was like, you know what, we've got the advantage. Cool, you do all this running around and that. We will try and keep the ball as best we can. We could have kept it better, yes. But I'm not going to sit here and be annoyed or vexed about.
No, I was just being honest.
I'm cool with it.
A better way of putting it is if you looked at both teams, when you looked at both teams, there didn't much difference between both of us. And I think that's a better way of putting it, where it's not like we looked like Man United.
We didn't need to be, though. That's the thing.
Yes, we didn't need to be, KJ. But my point is, it was just boring to watch. It was just boring to watch.
It's cool. It's boring.
But I do listen. I want to speak about why Van der Beek didn't start, and I do get that. Remember, we've got a new back four as a unit. If that makes sense. Someone else stepping in. Maguire's not there. It made kind of sense, really, to have Fred and Matic playing in there. 2 players that are Matic is positionally quite good. Fred's not really, but someone who works hard in there, and Van der Beek to come in. I would have liked to have seen him come on earlier, if I'm honest. I would have liked to have seen. I'm not the Diallo, I agree with KJ. KJ, you know how I am about young kids in football. He will play. He will get games. That will happen. Well, Mata probably could have came on a little bit earlier, but in terms of taking Pogba off, yeah, perfect. And as for Fred before, Fred had to come off in the PSG game because he was shocking after 3 minutes, not because he got a yellow card. That's where you question Ollie. He was shocking after 3 minutes. He had to come off.
Yeah,
he cost us way before he got a red card.
Nah.
Yeah,
I hear a lot of what's being said there. I think onto Johnny's point about both teams look similar, and everyone's, you know, I didn't even think Granada really tried to win either. They did make some chances, but they were throwing men forward, and we'd turn the ball over, and it wasn't like there was all this room for us to run and counter attack. They still kept people back. I think they got to a point where they thought, we're 3-0 down, we're probably not going to come back into it, but equally, let's not allow ourselves to get slapped 3 or 4-0 tonight, and let's walk away kind of respect. Yeah, I almost felt like they were
I just add to this yellow card
in a rock and a hard place. Yeah, go on, mate.
I really want to point out another reason why it was pertinent to take Pogba off at half time, right, is we've seen of late what we are like when it's McFred and Bruno. We struggle when Pogba's not in that team, right? I think we'd all agree on that. So, with that being said, and with Roma in the next round being no mugs, take the risk away and take Pogba off, because that means you've got Pogba for Roma. Do you see my point?
No, I understand that. Listen, I think taking players off, once we scored that goal, idealistically, we should have just taken 2 or 3 of our best players off almost instantly. You're not going to do it after 3 minutes. But I don't mind if I see a tweet, someone saying, listen, I'll take Pogba off at halftime now. I know he's captain, but let's save them legs for another day. That makes sense. But it was the whole yellow card thing. It's become farcical now to call for Man United to be the only team in the world I've ever seen consistently said take players off after they get booked. I saw it when Scott McTominay got booked the other day against Tottenham early on. So many people tweeting about it. And I just thought, it's weird. I find it legitimately weird that people are focusing on that.
Terry, on that game, though.
Don't read it, Terry. Don't read that.
Okay. Yeah. Go on, Adam.
No, it's on that yellow card scenario. I'm sure we had 4 players going in at half time with a yellow card against Spurs, so we couldn't have done it anyway. So just making the point.
That's also a great point. If 4 players get booked in the first half, he has to leave 1 on. That would minds. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Can't compute.
Can I just say quickly? I think Harry Maguire gets a lot of stick, and I think today I saw anyway the difference between having Harry Maguire in and out of the team. A lot of people say, it doesn't matter whether it's Harry Maguire, Lindelof, just get someone better next to them. No, Harry Maguire's a better defender than Lindelof, especially in the Premier League. I know it's not Premier League today, but especially in the Premier League. Most of Granada's chances came from aerial balls into the box, crosses, long balls, whatever it is. And they got their head on everything. They got their head on everything. The guy had to make a couple of saves. A few of them went past the post. Harry Maguire's aerial presence alone is a massive advantage compared to what Lindelof offers, and even Tuanzebe to a lesser extent, I guess. But I just think today he gets a lot of stick when he doesn't play well. He wasn't here today, and I could see the difference between him and in and out of the team.
I think you're right. He's definitely our best centre back overall. I don't know why people question that so much. I think it's quite clear and quite obvious. I want to speak Arsenal again. Igal, Alexander Lacazette, 17 goals now for the season.
20.
Is it 20? I saw someone. Okay, I'm just talking. I saw someone say it was 17 in the comment section a few moments ago. So it's 20 then in all competitions. How good a season is he? All right, mate. See you later.
My laptop was gonna die. I had to charge it. Sorry.
How good, in your opinion, a season is he having? Is this a flash in the pan, or do you think it's something he can build on as an Arsenal player?
Okay, I'm gonna have to keep the same energy as I kept the first tie. Honestly, Lacazette is playing for a move. He's not playing for his Arsenal career. He's not playing to stay at the club. He's playing for his next contract or his next major move. I feel like this is the last move he can make in his career, and this is probably the best we're going to see from him. In my opinion, we need to move on from Lacazette, and I know it sounds harsh, but we need to move on from Lacazette, get stronger, faster, better all-around striker that can play in that position, because we've already given Aubameyang the money. We cannot give Lacazette the money and we cannot hold on to him, get fooled, and then next year he regresses. So in the grand scheme of things, Terry, we need to move on from Lacazette. But right now, in the short term, get us this Europa League, get us Champions League football, and you know what? It will give you a bigger move in the future, and it'll help us get some money in return.
What makes you think? Sorry. What makes you think that he is playing for a move? What is it about his behavior, attitude, or things he said that's made you believe that?
Okay. First thing, I feel like this season he came back working on his body, and he focused on his body a lot more, and his nutrition and everything else. You can see from pictures and things that I've seen throughout Instagram and everything else throughout the season. That's one, because over the past couple of seasons, I feel like he let himself go slightly. That's one thing I would say. On top of that, this year, his performances, outputs, he has a lot more confidence, getting more game time. That might be a reason. But the main thing that I see is he's more confident in himself. He's taking more risks. He's taking more chances, where before it would almost be like, you know what, if it doesn't work, he's going to just sit back and be more complacent. That level of complacency is not there anymore.
I get that.
How does that equate to him playing for a move? Is it like, has there been like reports of him wanting to leave, and then you see the
2 years left in his contract?
Yeah.
This is his second last year. So next year is his last year. We're going to try to get rid of him this summer. It's been numerous reports that we're looking to sell him, and we're looking to get a new striker. So Eddie Nketiah, who played today, and Lacazette, who played today, most likely there's been rumors of both of them leaving this coming summer. Eddie Nketiah possibly to West Ham. Even today there was a report of him going to West Ham. Lacazette has been reported to go to Atletico and other clubs. So Arsenal is looking to sell them.
Scoring 20 goals, would you be happy for him to go? 20 goals.
I'd be happy for him to go, because he's near 30, and we need younger, more.
So, do you trust Joe Bowen to bring an adequate replacement?
I feel like we could find an adequate replacement for in and around 30-40 million. I don't think Lacazette is that great of a striker. As much as I used to overhype him and gas him at the time. Everyone does that with their players, but realistically, Lacazette is not the beyond and Eldar. He hasn't ever gotten this number of goals, and in his.
Let's say you replace him with let's say your next signing is something similar to Morata. So you've replaced 20 goals with next to nothing. Where would you be next season without them 20 goals?
We could easily replace him with a Osman Edwards, a Patson Daka. Even if you want to go in the league, there's guys like Ollie Watkins you can get. I know it's unrealistic to get Ollie Watkins, but I would say Patson Daka or who's they're more realistic targets, and I could get those guys for between 35 to 40 million, and I think there would be adequate replacements for Lacazette. We don't need to spend 75 million.
Hey, Gal, can I just ask you?
One step. Go on, mate.
I was just going to say, do you not think it's got anything to do with the fact that, Odegaard's come in, Emil Smith-Rowe's come in, Xhaka's been playing well? You don't think it's got anything to do with that, no? You think it's the fact that he's got 2 years left on his contract that's why he's performing?
It does help. It does help when you have creativity around you. But he also had Mesut Ozil, Aaron Ramsey. He had players before, senior pros, that could create for him also behind him. And he was never scoring in this tune. He had Alexis Sanchez next to him, and he still couldn't score these amount of goals.
All right, 1 second. I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. He's on 17 goals first and foremost.
Yeah, it's not 20. It's 17 goals. Yeah.
On top of that, he's a general 15 to 20 goal a season striker, and that's including when he was at Lyon. I think the only time when he broke the 20 goals at Lyon was when he was taking penalties. He doesn't really take. I know he has this season, to be fair, but he hasn't often taken penalties for Arsenal in all competitions in the previous seasons. He's always going to get around the 15 to 20 goals. I think one season he dropped below 15. Now, I think that's okay. It's okay. But that's why he bought Aubameyang. Aubameyang is supposed to be the one who's going to get 25, 30 goals in all competitions. So you can replace Lacazette. You're right. You probably get a striker who can score 20. The real issue is getting Aubameyang scoring again. And if you're not going to get him scoring again, you need to get rid and then you get that striker who's going to be your 30 goal a season striker.
I do
hear that. Yes, sorry, go on, Gal.
I hear what you're saying. Lacazette has been much better than Aubameyang this season, and he's completely outperformed Aubameyang this season, right? But when it comes down to it, as much as you can rate Lacazette, you still have to see his deficiencies, which is he's not the one that usually attacks the ball when the ball comes into a box. He's not the one that is tall enough to attack the ball in the air when that ball comes into the box. He can drop deep and play the false 9 role slightly. He can do link up play, but he's not the best all around piece. So why not get a 24-year-old, 25-year-old striker who has the scope to grow and become better right now when we can still get a return on investment from Lacazette, which we've always been saying Arsenal never get their return on investment.
I understand that completely. Johnny, there's one thing I want to say. Something you said a minute ago. You asked a really good question. How do you replace the goals that someone's scoring if the replacement isn't scoring more? Yesterday, you said you would get rid of Bruno Fernandes's goals and level of creativity for an attacking midfielder that doesn't score or create as much, but they hold on to the ball a little bit better. Sometimes
I think the rest of the team would play better. That's just my opinion. I just can't stand how much he gives the ball away. It drives me. It's just a personal preference. It drives me insane with it.
Interesting. I mean,
can I say something on that, Terry?
Chris,
if we had a top DM, let's say we bring in a Declan Rice, that's very different because positionally he's very good. So we'll be able to recycle the ball a bit more. The problem we have is that Bruno Fernandes is creative. You want him to be free. You want him to be creative. That's why he's so good. That's why his numbers are what they are. That's why Man United are second in the league right now, and we're into a semi-final. We haven't got the quality behind him. We haven't got that. Listen, I think it's mad to suggest taking.
Yeah. Also touching on that. You say you didn't get the quality behind him. That's definitely right. But how out of form has our front line been this season as well, where he's got to feed it to? Because you know what I mean. He's on one wavelength, they're not on the other.
We've got.
There's no one who can read it. That's it. I mean, look at Martial this season. Martial's been non-existent this season. Rashford, he's done his bits, but as we know, he can have absolute blinders, and I love the guy, but he can go games where he's missing for ages. So there's been a whole link, and I do agree the CDM is a big piece in our puzzle right now because that will balance this team out. I do think CDM and right winger are major positions that we need to invest in. That's what this club, I think, needs to balance out a lot more. And like Bruno plays Bruno football. He's a luxury. It really is, but you can build a team around him. You can't have too many players like him. I understand that and the way he loses the ball. But if you've got a Pogba there and you've got a good CDM there and you bring in that right winger who can actually play on the right-hand side, then you're talking a different ball game altogether.
Mm-hmm. You absolutely are. And I think, and this isn't a knock at so much at you here, Johnny. One of the things you say, and I hear a lot of the detractors of Bruno talk about, is that somebody else would score the goals if we retain the ball. But we weren't scoring this level of goals before Bruno came in, period. So it's not as though we were scoring 60 goals a year, and we're still scoring 60 goals a year in the Premier League, and it's just all going through a different player. We're scoring more goals. We're creating more chances. And to your point about Lacazette, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I think Nick's hit the nail on the head that you can probably afford to lose Lacazette's goals because Danny Ings, I think, could come in and score as many. It's actually looking at the guy that you spent £50 million on, and you're paying the most amount of salary to in the Premier League on £375,000 a week. It's either getting him scoring or replacing him to be your 25, 30 goal season scorer. That's probably for me a more pressing matter for Arsenal.
I think interesting in that one is like you said before, Arsenal need the Europa League, or all this talk is completely by the by. They can't afford to lose Lacazette because you're not going to get anyone else in for a mid-table Premier League team, are you?
That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true.
You're not going to attract anyone without Champions League football. It's as simple as that.
Okay, what do you mean by anyone? We're not trying to attract Holland. We don't spend that kind of money anyways. We're going to be scouting.
So you're saying there's better out there than Lacazette for a team that's mid-table of the Premier League?
Yes, there is 100%.
Really?
You're telling me you wouldn't take some of these players that are in lesser clubs in the Premier League and put them in Manchester United as striker even, because some of these players are playing for lesser clubs.
Lesser than Arsenal is bottom half of the table then. Yeah.
No. What you're doing right there is you're looking at.
I don't know what you mean by lesser club.
We're trying to attract Holland. We're not trying to attract Holland. We're not trying to attract Benzema.
No, you wouldn't.
Top players in the world.
Chance.
We're trying to get players.
Sorry to interject. If you listen to what Adam said, what he's saying is, why would listen to what Adam's saying. Let's go back to what he said, just because I think you're going, because you said something like wouldn't Man United take some of the lesser like a Danny Ings? Yeah, we would, but we're in the Champions League. Adam's point is, if you're 10th and you don't win and you're not in the Champions League next year, or you're not even in Europe next year, Danny Ings isn't going to choose you. That's what he's saying.
That's not true.
Yeah.
Even Fabrizio Romano reported the other day on some. I was watching a podcast and he was talking about it. Until today, Arsenal still has a big name in world football, and a lot of players still want to play for Arsenal. It's just if they are picking between us and like Manchester United, or us and Man City, or us and Real Madrid, yes, they're going to pick the bigger team. But if their choices is Arsenal or going somewhere else, they're obviously going to pick Arsenal.
You know, I've got a question for you, Gal. So that is true potentially. So you're looking at the 22 to 25-year-old bracket of footballer for Arsenal. That's what you've been saying. We've seen it many times where United are going in for players like a Haaland, like a Bellingham, and they still lose out to teams who are lower than them due to the development path that they can provide them.
Yeah.
Do you think that players looking at Arsenal and potentially, let's say, at Everton, do you think they think, right, I'll probably get a better development path at Everton because I get more games, less pressure, less stress. But if I go to Arsenal and I don't deliver, it can hinder my career a bit more. So therefore, I won't want to go there.
There's two factors. One, the Pepe factor. Pepe was a big move. He didn't work out. And a lot of people are looking at that and they're scared of making the move to Arsenal because of that situation. But there's also the factor of looking at Saka, Smith Rowe, and we've played the most minutes for young kids in the Premier League. So there's two ways to look at it. It just depends what that person's motivations are and how much they can push themselves as an individual. It's up to them personally. It's not the club can present both sides. And you know what? It depends on you as a person, what you think.
But Gal, you're playing all these young players, and where are you in the league? So won't young players look at that and be like, okay, these are obviously talented young players, but we're not getting much out of them. But you're not even getting into Europe. I think the attraction for Arsenal right now is the fact that you're a London-based club, and there's the potential of getting signed and then getting a new contract and getting a load of money thrown at you.
But I mean,
I don't see anything else but that at Arsenal right now.
Is the manager in all of this got a say on what players are looking at? Because in terms of what I'd say David Moyes has done at West Ham, you would say a lesser club compared to what Arteta's done.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's night and day in terms of what to expect. People would say, what do you expect Arteta to do with the team he's got? Well, you could easily have said that with David Moyes and what he's got at West Ham. Is the manager going to be an issue for attracting players to Arsenal as well? That has to be taken into consideration because, there's a few young players coming through, but is there are players coming in or looking for a new club, say Arsenal, looking at that going, well, it's easy to bring the young players in because you're not really judged on that. They're already at the club. And are they going to take a risk on going to somewhere that's got Arteta in charge, mid-table in the Premier League with no European football? It's a big decision for a youngish player to make when there's a lot of other options out there, I would say.
That has been an obstacle.
It's certainly a very good point. And viewers, we want your views. We want your opinions on that. If Arsenal don't make the Champions League, how difficult do you think it will be for them to attract top talent to come to this club and replace Aubameyangs and Lacazettes and the like? And equally, how long can they stay out of the Champions League and still hold on to players such as Saka, such as Emil Smith-Rowe that look very, very promising indeed? I want your views. I want your opinions. Make sure you're smashing that like button right now, ladies and gentlemen, as well. Thank you to everybody for the super chat so far. Johnny, thank you very much for coming on, mate. I was going to recycle some of the panel.
Thank you, mate.
Man, speak to you again soon. Got young Samuel and other Gooners. A lot of people saying we haven't got enough Gooners on tonight. I have sent the link out to 4 or 5 other Gooners. I don't know what they're doing tonight, but they obviously chose not to come on and have their say. You can tell lockdown's coming to an end. It's a lot harder to get older people at the moment. Everyone's doing other things. I want to speak a little bit about the semi-finals now, though, and how you think respective teams are going to do. I'm going to go to KJ first on this one. When it comes to Man United, we're going to play Roma. Is that a game? How confident are you right now going into a game like that?
You know what, yeah? Maybe a couple of years ago, when they had Salah and El Shaarawy and I know they've got El Shaarawy now, but I mean a younger version of El Shaarawy. and they had Nyan Golden as well. They had Florenzi. Like, I think then I'd probably be a bit more afraid, a bit more cautious. But this Roma team right now, they're currently 7th in Serie A. They're a good team, but they haven't got the kind of players that they used to have. Their best player that I know of is Edin Dzeko, and he isn't the springest of chickens. You know what I mean? He's basically Edson Cavani. You know what I'm saying? So. I feel like we can do it. I think we can play a good game. They're a team that might actually give us more time on the ball and actually let us have a chance of actually attacking them, which is something I will be confident with going into the game. So yeah, Roma of the past, I would be more worried, but this Roma right now, 2021 Roma, I feel Man United got a good chance to go through to the final.
How about yourself, Adam? Do you share the same kind of confidence going into the game?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I had some AC Milan fans on talking with them on my channel when we were playing them, and they just didn't seem Roma as a real threat, a real challenge. And we all seen what we did to, well, on paper, the second best team in Italy. Again, we sort of controlled the game completely in the second leg. It was a better performance. I just feel like, although it will be a tight game against Roma, I do feel like we'll have too much. I think we've got too much firepower for them. And that's what will take us through in the end. I think we've got too many match winners. And we've got, for me, a few players coming into decent-ish form now, which are really going to make a difference for us going in. It's like Cavani just revving up, Greenwood coming back to form. You know what, Pogba being fit and a full squad to choose from, which if Roma are looking at possibly getting back into Europe again next season, are they going to put all their eggs in this basket? Are they looking at trying to get into them Europa League positions in the league from where they are now? Where are they at in terms of that? I just think we're in a better position. Squad-wise, I think with us being comfortably second in the league, I know if people are still thinking that United can catch City, I don't think it's doable, to be honest. It would be nice to get a bit closer, but I think we're in a position where we're comfortable. We've got a lot going for us because we can maybe rest a few players in certain league games before these big games, and I think that's going to play to our advantage. I'm liking the fact that we've got a full week off next week, no midweek game. Rashford's getting the rest that he needs now. And like I said, Cavani, who's not had a lot of game time, coming into form. Pogba raring to go. I just think we're in a better position than Roma. And on paper, really, unless we completely capitulate, it's only United who can beat United in this leg for me if we play poorly enough. But I think we'll have more than enough there for Roma.
I agree, Nick. So I want to ask you this question, mate. It's Man United Liverpool that's going to be sandwiched in between those two games, and that's obviously it doesn't matter where we are in the league, what's going on. Beating Liverpool is always imperative to our season. Does that make the next couple of games against Burnley and Leeds absolute must wins? Because win those two games and top four and seconds pretty much secure, which gives us a little bit more leeway maybe in that Liverpool game.
No, because it's the point that you just made before that. Regardless of what's happening, it's Man United versus Liverpool. So even if we beat Burnley and Leeds 6-0, we still want to beat Liverpool. Regardless, obviously, it's not as important in terms of getting second, but you can't go into Liverpool and say, like the way Man City did against Leeds, let's play our whole second team. Because even if we're 10 points clear of 5th place, imagine we lose 3-0 at home to Liverpool. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing nonetheless. So it's a tough one. I think for me, the first leg against Roma would be more important to how we do against Liverpool, i.e., can we get a comfortable lead where we can still play a strong side like we did against Spurs, a strong side against Liverpool, knowing that the second leg we can not relax, but we can maybe make a few changes and not have to go for it as much. But I will say, I think the Roma game is going to be very good. I think it's going to be better than the AC Milan game. I think it's going to be better than the Granada game in terms of a tie between both sides. I did have Roma actually as my third favourites after Man United and AC Milan when the quarterfinals were drawn. No, when the last 16 was drawn. I just feel like they like to hit on the counter-attack. And they're going to allow us to have the ball, as KJ said. So we're going to be the aggressors. And we know that we haven't been the greatest at breaking down low blocks, etc. The good thing is that we've got Pogba back and we get Pogba and Bruno and we should be able to create more chances. But I think it's going to be a good close game, but we should win.
I hear you on that one. And Igal and Sam, when it comes to Arsenal, this is, for me, this is almost football personified. It's a semi-final. It's every game now in the Europa League's make or break for Arsenal Football Club. But you're playing against Unai Emery's team. It's poetic and it's romantic. How are you feeling ahead of that right now? I'll go to Samuel first on this one.
Well, I've seen some Arsenal fans say, it's going to be easy draw, but it ain't, because Villarreal have some very good players in their team. You've got Pau Torres at centre-back, Danny Parejo, and Gerard Moreno. Those are 3 players that can cause issues. Imagine at the Emirates, these Slavia Prague dons just cause us a lot of threats. Just imagine these players, what they could do to us. They've got so much quality. So these Arsenal fans, they usually get hyped up with chest. They need to calm down. And also, there's the added dimension of Unai Emery, like
Good
he said,
evening.
yeah, Mr. Good Evening himself. In September, when the group stage was done, he said he wants to play Arsenal. In round of 32, round of 16, all the draws, he said, I want to play Arsenal. So obviously, the manager's going to be up for it. So we've got to be aware. And the Arteta out crew, if Emery wins, they're going to be in heaven right now. They're going to be in heaven.
But that is a very good point you make there, because you've got the Arteta inners and outers. There's the Ole inners and outers. And I'm not talking about people that, like, everyone knows my view on Ole. I do think we've gone as far as he can take us. And if he wins things, he proves me wrong. I'll admit it. But I'm really not. I'm a fussed. I actually want to be wrong. Does that make sense? I'm not where I feel like what I call an Ole outer is someone that thinks Ole can't do it. And no matter what Ole does, there'll be even if he won us the Champions League next year in the Premier League, they'd find an obscure nuance to like play it down, if that made sense. Like they just would. And I feel like that's the added pressure that comes with these games now. I almost feel like there's going to be a percentage of Arsenal fans in that semi-final supporting Villarreal to an extent. The same as we saw at least 5 or 6 Man United fans do instant fan match reactions after Poch's PSG beat Bayern the other day, and they celebrated more than when I watched the exact same fan who beat Spurs the other day. They actually celebrated harder, and the football's become a very weird thing for me. Igal, from your perspective, though, are you confident going into this game, or are you just nervous because this is probably going to be the hardest team you've played so far in this tournament?
Listen, every single game until the Europa League is over is going to be Avengers Endgame for us. Literally, like Thanos is now Emery. Last game, Thanos was friggin' the Slavia Prague guys, and when we face Manchester United, Thanos is probably going to be Ali or whoever. So every single game, Terry, is going to be like nail biter. And I told you after Benfica game, you could tell by the emotions after Benfica game. This is all that matters to us. The Premier League is great. If we lose, you know what, we're going to downplay it. If we win, we're going to hype it up. If we draw, we're just going to say, you know what, Europa League the Europa League is all that matters. This is all that matters. And you could tell by the emotion and the absolute scenes on Twitter before the game. It was ridiculous. The amount of people who were already saying we were going to lose, and the amount of people who during the game were like not even celebrating because they were scared if we were going to somehow lose after the first goal. We scored the second one. You could sense everyone relaxed. And now that we've won, it's almost like you can't celebrate it because now you realize you have to go through it again. I feel like that player from San Andreas or something. Oh man, here we go again.
It's like you said quickly on that one. It's like every time you talk about Thanos there, though, he's getting a stone in his glove every single round, mate. And when he gets to United at the end, he's going to be at full power. And that's it, he's coming down.
Like I say, we can't let these Arsenal Donnies be the Avengers, bro. We already established this in the last summer, bro. There ain't no Avengers, fam. Them man are the poor man, A Force or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what
KJ, there's something you guys forgot to mention about your tie and our tie. Both ties are revenge games. You got Mkhitaryan's revenge game, and you got Unai Emery's revenge game. It's kind of different levels. They're still there.
I was clutching a little bit, that one.
Yeah. I want to know, because I think you must feel under a lot of pressure as an Arsenal fan who has rested their hat and many other things on Mikel Arteta. Like you have put everything on this manager, and I can sense. I don't know what I can sense that if you're thinking like if Arteta loses to Emery, I'm done. I am finished. My people, I'm gonna have to deactivate Twitter. I'm gonna have to shut down my YouTube for 30 days. Like, I feel that your credibility on social media, if everyone beats Arteta, like, you have to take the summer off. We'll see you in September.
I need
It
good evening. I need those 2 Thursday nights. I need a very good evening to happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's what I
might. You know what? Forget it. I'm not watching the Man United game. I'm watching the gals watch along because he's gonna be under so much pressure. He's gonna be sweating. Like, I feel for you, gal.
But do you know what's interesting? Though, the Arteta outers and Ollie outers, they're in the privileged position really, because if they can go on forever and at some point still say they were right. Does that, unless Arteta wins Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, unless Ollie wins, Ollie's is even harder. Unless Ollie wins Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, playing football better than Pep's. That's essentially what they're asking for now. Like, that's the level it's gone
If
to.
Arteta wins the Europa League, Arteta out people have to concede because he's
They won't.
Let me get to my point, and you'd understand what I was saying here, Gal. Like, unless Arteta wins Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues, and unless Ollie wins Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues with the best football you've ever seen, they're right still. They have set the bar so high, it's impossible for them. They're so smart in what they've done. And Ollie Inners and Arteta Inners fell for it, and they fell for the game. The standards have been set there. They've set standards that can never, ever be. It's like me saying to my son, I'm only going to be proud of you if you smash Usain Bolt's 100-meter running record by a second. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to make me love you, son, is if you break Usain Bolt's 100-meter record by a second. It's impossible for multiple reasons, genetics included, because there's no way one of my kids is running that fast because their dad ain't that quick and their mum can't run. But the point I'm making is that's what they've done. But so they always win. But it's the Inners who are in the mud. If you lose semis or you lose finals, you just get this, I told you.
But Terry, on top is more than that. Because if Man United or Arsenal, if they win the Europa League and you dare as a fan celebrate, the staunch, hardcore Ollie and Arteta outers will be like, look how far your level has fallen. You're celebrating the Europa League. Fergie will never. Wenger was like, it's crazy. So that's why you just got to say, I don't give a damn. I want my team to win. Wherever we are, I want us to win. If we lose tomorrow, I want us to win the next day. Like, it just, I want us to win every game and we can't. So if we get knocked out of the Champions League, what? Now I should get knocked out of the Europa League because we should have still been in the Champions League. No, we're in the Europa League. Let's try and win that one.
You're absolutely right. What you need to do, if you support Arteta, you support Ollie. If you're kind of in the middle of it all, like I sort of am, you've just got to be strong in your own mind and own sanity. And I mean that word bluntly. Sanity needs to be in place because you can't allow gaslighting to set in, because you end up questioning yourself, going, oh yeah, maybe I was wrong about this, maybe I was right about that. Like I said before, I don't think Ollie will win us a major trophy. So if he wins us the Europa League, I'll be happy. If he goes on and wins us a major trophy next year, I'll say, I'm so happy to be wrong. I'm going to celebrate like every other proper Man United fan. And I'm not saying, I am saying it. If you're someone that sets unrealistic expectations, I don't understand that. Like some Man United, I saw this guy on his Twitter account the other day, and basically the expectation he set for Ollie in terms of how we win and what we win is greater than what Fergie achieved. It's mad. I was like, let me do something. Do it like that. So I just sort of feel like you can't. There's no point worrying about that because you just damage your own sanity. You really, really will.
People talk about legendary status. This is that. I'm gonna say it right now. If Arteta wins the Europa League, he goes down etched in stone as a manager who won us a European trophy, an FA Cup. As much as people don't like the man or don't think he's at Arsenal's level or we shouldn't have him as a manager, you know what? At that point, you have to applaud him and be like, you know what? Back-to-back years, you've been able to win 2 trophies. You've been able to win an FA Cup, a European trophy, etched in stone in the trophy cabinet forever in history. And you know what? As much as you don't like him, as much as some people don't like him, I'm not calling him a legend, but he'll always be remembered for that.
Build him a statue next to Ollie.
I was about to say though, so if he wins, I mean, he could theoretically do something that Wenger didn't do.
Yeah.
Also on that as well,
Yeah.
you know what? Either teams, like if United loses the final or Arsenal loses the final, who's going to be louder? The OLE outers or Arteta outers? Because they're both going to be jumping.
OLE outers, because there's more of them. Our fan base is bigger than yours.
Arteta out.
No. Gal, our fan base is bigger than yours. It will be OLE outers. It's just in the way that it is. Listen, Man United have to win the Europa League. They have to for their own sanity. For their own sanity and their own self-belief, they have to do this. You know what I mean? Because unlike a gal saying Arteta will be etched in stone and the FA Cup Europa League. Oli wins the Europa League. His name etched in nothing, bro. It's just in the air. You know what I'm saying? So he has to now go on and actually do improve more than just the Europa League. He has to go on and prove that he can win Champions League, Premier League. That's what the standard people set for him. So United need this. Oli needs this. I say
for what?
He needs this. He needs this more than Arteta does.
For what?
It's the bare minimum. It's the bare minimum.
Which means for what? He needs this. Of course he needs this. This Arteta, Oli winning this, as you said, Arteta winning it. You're pretty much on about a gal. You're an Arteta winner. You're on the tip of calling him a legend of Arsenal for winning Europa League and an FA Cup. Do you know what Oli would have to win to even be, for the word legend to even be within the conversation? He would need 4 or 5 league titles minimum, a Champions League, and 4 or 5 domestic trophies. Because of what Sir Matt Busby and Fergie did as managers for this football club, you can't be close to that. I think we've just realised the difference in size of our two football clubs in this conversation.
I think to nail it on the head, I think it comes down to, I think Arsenal need the trophy more. I'd say Arsenal need the trophy as much as Oli needs the trophy. I wouldn't say United need this trophy, but Oli needs this trophy. Arsenal as a club need the Europa League trophy more, I think. That's how I look at it.
The only way Oli could match Fergie in any level is if he subs himself on in the Champions League final and scores.
Nobody's talking about matching Arsene Wenger or Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm just saying, based on history of the club, you win 2 major honors. You're the first person to win a European trophy in the new era. That is remembered. As much as you don't want to say no, let me finish. As much as you don't want to say nothing, Jesse Lingard won you guys FA Cup. He will be remembered for that. Even as much as you guys don't want to remember him, he'll be remembered for that.
Egal. So listen, I can't talk for all Man United fans. Lingard is a respected academy member of this club, and he did score an FA Cup winning final goal. That puts you into an element of folklore. But he is nowhere near legendary status.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, but what are you saying then? He'll be remembered, but you're talking about different things altogether. Arteta, if Arteta wins the Europa League this year, he has achieved something that trophy-wise that Arsene Wenger didn't. It would take 25 years, right, or at least 3 Champions Leagues for Oli to get anywhere near achieving something that legendary managers at Manchester United haven't achieved. That's the point I'm trying to make to you here. The levels here are just completely on different planets to one another. You've got a manager that you're on the edge of calling a legend. You know, he won first manager to ever win a European Cup for our club. That's massive. That's huge. That is massive.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny though? You don't even actually need to win the Europa League to be remembered. If he does not win the Europa League, he'll be remembered as the man who made you guys from 6th to 8th to potentially 10th. Like, the memory's still there. He'll still be remembered, Miguel. He still will be remembered. If that's what you're saying, he's still, well, maybe not in the way that you want him to be. Listen, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has so much to live up to that no matter how much Arteta will be etched in stone, no matter how much, Ole winning this Europa League means more than Arteta winning the Europa League. It does.
Listen, Ole, if we win the Europa League, Jack Grealish is coming to Arsenal. We're gonna spend
no, we go.
What, he's going to watch a game?
Not this old chestnut.
Nah.
Come on. That is ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about that massive claim there from Miguel? Jack Grealish to Arsenal if you win it. Wow, that's a big,
you guys
big claim indeed. Listen, everybody that has tuned in this evening, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back tomorrow with even more content here on the Football Terrace. Do me a big favor and smash that like button. But until next time, take care. Goodbye. God